What's going on, everybody? This is Caleb from Beartooth, and we will be playing the Orpheum in Tampa, Florida on October 17th. So go to beartoothtickets.com or Beartooth VIP for more information. It's going to be a really good time. So please come. We will be rocking.
Cigar City Radio is sponsored by No Clubs and StateMedia.com. Find out about upcoming concerts in Tampa Bay by visiting StateMedia.com and tagging No Clubs on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Use the hashtag #WeAreConcerts.
Next up for No Clubs, Wednesday, October 17th, Beartooth at the Orpheum. Thursday, October 18th, The Breeders featuring Kim Deal of the Pixies will be at the Ritz. Friday, October 19th, Mike Shinoda will be at the Ritz. Sunday, October 28th, Pretty Much will pretty much be at the Ritz Ybor. Saturday, November 3rd, two-show night, Alan Stone and Nick Waterhouse at the Ritz Ybor, and then Sebastian Bach has been moved to the White Buffalo Saloon in Sarasota, but tickets purchased for the original State Theater show will be honored. So that's two-show night, Saturday, November 3rd. Sunday, November 4th, Jonathan Davis from Korn will be at the Orpheum. Friday, November 16th, The Main Squeeze is at the Orpheum. And then Saturday, November 17th, another two-show night, Atreyu with Memphis Mayfire is going to be at the Ritz Ybor, and then down the street at the Orpheum, you can catch Magic City Hippies and Bay Ledges. Wednesday, November 21st, a three-show night with Red Sun Rising at the Orpheum, Mayday Parade at the Ritz Ybor, and across the bay at Janus Live, VNV Nation will be there. So Wednesday, November 21st, big night, three shows. Should be a lot of fun. Which one are you going to go to? Tuesday, November 27th, Minus the Bear will be at the Ritz Ybor. And closing out a very busy November, Friday, November 30th, Little Xan is going to be at the Ritz Ybor. And that should be pretty turnt. Also, just announced No Name, January 18th. Lots of cool shows announced for next year. Go on to statemedia.com and check all those out. We'll be telling you all about them in future eps. Welcome to Cigar City Radio, episode number 85. The song you just heard was Dirty Old Boot from Manchester, UK-based Sonny Purcell, a charming songwriter from England. Check him out. I'm your host, Randy Ojeda, and making the magic happen, a man who thinks he looks awesome, apparently, Mr. Jason Solanas.
Hey, do you think that the term
we can't say that.
Why not?
We can't say that.
Why?
Just bleep that whole section. Our guests on this episode are Caleb and Will Chapman from Nashville-based Colony House. They have two albums out as Colony House, When I Was Younger and Only the Lonely, both of which reached the Billboard 200 charts. They're a really cool guitar-based rock band. And really nice guys, super humble, super chill, and down to earth. We had a great time hanging out with them. We went to the Orpheum to meet them, which was cool for us because we hadn't recorded in the Orpheum before, but we set up upstairs in the balcony area, found ourselves some lights because it was a little dark up there, and had a nice little chat with the Colony House boys. So thanks a lot for joining us, Colony House. Check them out online at Colony House, colonyhousemusic.com. So here it is, episode number 85. favorite venues in town, where tonight Colony House is putting on a headlining performance with our friends Tall Heights, who we're also going to be talking to today, which is awesome.
Sweet.
That we can talk to everybody.
Indeed.
And we're joined by Will and Caleb Chapman from Colony House.
Yes.
So first off, how's it going, guys? How's the tour so far? How are
So far,
things?
so good. We're still in this is the 6th show, so kind of the first week or week and a half of tour.
So you haven't gotten totally sick of it yet?
Yeah.
Is what you're
No,
saying.
no, not yet. We're, I think, now totally sick. I think that started, being passed around the van a little bit. But
Oh,
that's-
no.
A little
That
bit.
is just part of tour.
Yeah, it is. It's like, one person gets sick, and then
And
suddenly the whole band's sick, and then the crew's sick, and then
Right.
It's just maintaining the severity of the sickness. So
right, yeah, keeping
it's
it to
not-
a manageable level.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's good, man. We just came off of a couple off days that we got to spend on the beach
Right on.
in Ormond Beach, which was awesome. It's usually, I feel like we hadn't earned it yet.
Yeah,
it's
right?
It's only been 4 shows,
And then you get some beach time.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
but it's been great.
Yeah, is this your first time in Tampa?
As a headliner,
Yes.
I believe so. We've played the Ritz, right? That's here, right? Ritz
Yeah, the Ritz
or-
is just down the street.
or whatever.
I think we've only done Tampa once. We've done St. Petersburg,
Mhm.
the Janice.
Yeah, Janice is in St.
Yeah.
Pete.
Yeah, we've done that, I think,
I
twice.
think we played here though, with Need to Breathe,
Who
or
knows? I'm sure we have.
or I just remember walking on these streets
Yeah.
and going to dinner with a friend, but I can't remember what show we were playing.
Yeah.
down
Do you remember
there.
where you went to dinner?
No, it was it, but it, no,
no,
I
but
don't.
I've heard that we need to go to the Columbia.
Yeah, the Columbia's
Columbia?
right next door, and you definitely need to go to the
Okay.
Columbia.
We were just
Um,
at the Blind Tiger coffee spot. That
Oh
was
yeah,
great.
shout out to them.
Yeah.
That's like the usual spot where we record.
Man,
there.
that's
And-
what a rad spot.
Right?
I wish every venue had that
Right
cool
around
of
the
a
corner.
spot right around.
yeah,
the
like
corner.
coffee shop right around
Yeah.
the corner.
Oh, you
yeah.
know exactly where to plant yourselves, right next to a venue.
Yeah, exactly. And they're a really great coffee shop there. I mean, they
Yeah.
make their own beans and stuff,
awesome.
so it's like
Love
it's
it.
really cool.
Yeah,
Love
it
it.
Yeah.
felt that way. Man.
Yeah. So, tell me, it's been a while since the last record. So, what's going on now? What are you working on?
Well-
What's going on in Colony House world?
Yeah, what's going on in the house?
Yeah, in the house.
So
We-
what we cooking up in the house?
Yeah, we've spent most of the summer home.
Now, where's home for you? Tennessee.
Nashville, yeah.
Nashville.
Franklin
okay.
to be exact, but Nashville,
Suburb.
Yeah.
suburb south of Nashville. But yeah, we've put the record out. Our last record was top of 2017, and we pretty much just been touring nonstop to the point where it's like you get to tours like this one, and you're like, well, I'm glad we're out here, but we
Maybe we
could have
should've
maybe we should have
recorded
just
a
stayed
record.
home and recorded.
Yeah.
But we're like, no, we
we
feel
have a
like-
problem. We really do love touring.
Yeah.
It's like this love-hate relationship. Not love-hate, more like love and dislike sometimes.
Yeah, sure,
Like,
yeah.
because it's always, we feel like we're most productive when we're on the road, and we feel like that's how we get to see the people that appreciate this. That's how we get to say thank you in person. That's
Yeah.
how we get to judge the response of songs. And when you're in the studio, you can kind of get so indulgent in it's all about, it can become all about you and kind of you're judging your own response to the song and stuff. So anyways, we just have found a lot of comfort in the road.
Yeah.
Now it's time for us. We've been spending pretty much every day in the studio when we're home. So we've been, more than any of our last albums, we've spent more time thinking about these songs and demoing them and re-demoing them. I say, if I could paint a picture of what it looked like, it would just be a bunch of crumbled up pieces of paper on a floor, that feels like what we've been doing. It's like, this is a good idea, but it hadn't been executed right.
right.
Throw it over your shoulder, start over. So we've been doing that a lot, and preparing. I think it'll actually be nice to end this tour and feel like we tied a nice bow on the Only the Lonely cycle, and just go, all right, that phase, that chapter is through. Let's finish this next chapter and push forward with that. So November, December, and January are going to be writing and recording for the next project, which is to be determined exactly what that will be, because as we all know, it's changing so much as far as how to release music and everything, and we're trying to figure out what it looks like for us.
Yeah, do you put out an EP or singles or a full-length album or whatever? But but back to your point about, you know, touring and connecting with fans, I think that's really cool. And like, you know, it's 3 p.m. right now. The show doesn't start till 8 o'clock, and there's a line of like a handful of kids outside the door right now. You know, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So you know, is that something that you see in a lot of cities? Is like, you know, kids or people that are just really into the band.
Yeah, it's so crazy, especially in places like this where we haven't been as many times. We just don't, you know, we come down here and like we hear that 20 people might come. That's awesome. Really?
Sure, yeah.
There's 20 people here who know who we are. So when there's a line outside, regardless of the number, you know, we've always find ourselves like really grateful to that there are people all over this country that are up for coming out to a show.
Yeah.
Like the easy thing for us to forget, I even said it on stage the other night, like the things that it's so easy for us to forget is you have to make all these plans and all these, like there's a lot that comes into every single person coming to this show, whether it's babysitters for some people, whether it's schoolwork, pushing that off for some kids, whether it's getting time off for a job or getting like all those things go into coming to a show. All the things that we know because we go to shows all the time.
Of course, yeah.
So when you account that every person has done that in your room, whether it's 100 people or 600 people or whatever, it's a really humbling feeling.
That's a really cool way to look at it. You know, and not only that, but it's just like the fact that people would leave their houses at all in 2018. You know, like rather than staying home and watching Netflix or whatever, like they're actually going out to experience something.
Totally.
Like,
which I commend because I always say the reason it's like, what have I chosen to put my stock in, and the live show to me feels like it will always survive because there's a spirit about a live show that not the greatest camera in the world can capture. You know, like unless you were there that night, doesn't matter how many iPhone photos and videos you got, you're never going to be able to paint the full picture of like what was happening in that room that night. And that's what I think is really cool about live music and why I think we continue to like push to be out on the road, because we get to experience. Could be someone's like, oh, that was another show, it was good, but it could be. I mean, we have all the time people being like, this is my first concert ever. That is like that's
really
history
cool
for you.
Yeah, they're gonna get asked that question all the time.
What was your first concert? And to think that we were that is amazing. So, and then kids, I mean, we had a kid at our concert last night who was 12, and he was like, I've been following you all since before you were Colony House. I was like, what? That means you were like 5 when you first heard us. Like, I don't even know that was possible. And his brother posted a picture of him today, and he's got his guitar, and he's like, his caption was like he hadn't put it down since he saw the show last night. So things like that. I mean, that's
really cool.
I remember going to shows as a kid that age and seeing whoever I could name a list, but and thinking, I'm going home. I'm going to stay up all night and just play my guitar. Because it was so inspiring. Yeah,
that's really cool. So then, quick question for both of you. Then, what was your first concert?
Well, it's not fair because my dad is an artist. And so that was our first concert.
Was your dad?
I'm trying to think, and we grew up around it, so it's hard to think like what was the first concert. I feel like, I remember thinking, this is crazy, but there's a band called Third Day in the Christian music industry, and what's funny is I remember thinking, I went to their show with a friend and thinking, this is odd that I'm sitting out front. I don't know if I've ever been to a show where I haven't been backstage during it. So maybe that was it. Maybe that was the first concert. But I remember going to like old Switchfoot shows. So I can't remember. I can't really remember the first concert of my life.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like the first one that I have that same feeling of being like,
this was the show.
Yeah, I'm trying. I can't. So many. I feel like that been in that same
Well,
camp.
it's not-
Like, I'm backstage, but
Yeah.
I'm not really out front for the show, and I'm not going just as a consumer almost. But I feel like I've been to so many shows, and one that I can remember. This definitely wasn't the first show I've ever been to, but one that I will never forget was when my dad took us, me and Caleb, because we weren't that old when he took us to what was
the
the
G3
G-
Honda? Yeah, it
Well,
was
like,
G3,
Joe
Joe Satriani,
and it was like
Yngwie and
at the
Steve
Ryman.
Vai.
Oh, okay,
the Ryman
yeah.
at Nashville, and it
Oh,
was
yeah.
totally like not like we had no idea what we were going into. But I just remember being like walking out of that concert and being like, "What just happened?" Because it was just
The
shredding.
Yeah, just shredding for 3
literally
hours.
It was,
Yeah.
exactly, shredding. It was so funny, and the demographic of people is
It was
just like,
Amazing.
Yeah.
we all are here to watch the three guys literally just shred.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
any of them like even sang. I
Yeah.
think Joe Satriani sang a little.
Yeah, he's got a couple songs where he
Right.
has vocals, but for the
Yeah.
most part, yeah, like his records are just shred after shred
Right.
after shred. Which
Great.
there's a market for that.
Yeah,
like people
exactly.
love that. I like shredding.
Yeah.
I can only take so much
Yes,
shredding.
exactly.
though,
Right,
you know?
right. It was definitely an experience.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but that's cool hearing
Good
how
memory.
like your dad kind of shaped your
yeah.
musical influences in that way. So what was it like growing up with a dad who was,
Yeah.
making music and out there?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was. I mean, I think it taught, especially me and Kayla, a lot about how to try to do this as best and as good. And it's just stay humble. And my dad's amazing at what he does. And there's a reason he's had such a successful career, and it's because he has been so humble throughout his whole career, and he's done it the right way. And I think me and Caleb got to play with him for 6 years, starting in high school. And
Yeah.
so that time on the road before we even started our own band was definitely like shaping me and Caleb in the way that I think we try to do this as best as we can. And
Yeah.
he's always in the studio when we're recording, and he's always kind of around, and he's still to this day giving us a lot of helpful information. But he's our biggest fan, and it's been amazing. I mean, he's the man. So
Yeah, and it's interesting because obviously your dad was like a legendary
Right.
contemporary Christian music artist,
Right.
but
Yeah.
Colony House is not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't describe you as a contemporary Christian
Totally.
band.
Right.
So was that kind of a purposeful thing on your part that you wanted to do something a little bit different, or
I think it was. It felt natural for us, and we tried. I mean, naturally, when your dad has as many like relationships as he has inside of the Christian music industry, it was when we were really young, like in high school, and wanting to do this. Our first relationships were, his booking agent, his manager, his label,
Sure.
were the people we were talking to first. But it's like, and those were pretty much our uncles almost.
Yeah.
And so we worked with them for a little bit, and really what it came down to was a square peg round hole situation where it just felt like this is two entities doing things well, but they're not supposed to be working together.
Yeah.
We just felt like we tried. That was where our path naturally led us, but it didn't make sense. Like that wasn't the music that we were writing, and at least that, if we're looking very like formulaic and like very like industry and format.
Sure.
We didn't fall in that format for whatever reason. So it wasn't for a lack of like, belief in and really respect it for that industry and everything. It was just, I think we're supposed to do something different. We played a show. I remember we played a show in Nashville. We kind of like stopped working with all those people, all on good terms, but just like, hey, I think we need to try to figure our own thing out. This doesn't seem to be working. And then a small booking agent saw us play a show in Nashville and started just booking us. He was like, we'll book you wherever you want if you're okay with like $100 a show. And we were like, we'll get paid to go play those places. Cool.
yeah,
No one told us
whole
that.
$100.
Yeah, we could split.
Yeah.
We could figure we could do some damage with $100.
Yeah.
So we just started playing to like nobody for years and years. And,
Yeah.
And even still, sometimes it feels like we're like we're always hungry about breaking new ground, trying to figure it out. So yeah, just started from there, and we've had nothing but like really, really positive like reinforcement from the people that helped us in the beginning, you know. And my dad included. He's been our biggest supporter and fan as we push forward.
I saw, you know, like doing research for this interview and getting ready to meet you guys, I saw that, you know, your dad tweets a lot about the band, he seems like just the proudest father that you guys are doing what you're doing. You know,
couldn't be more proud, and it's a gift. We've seen, it's so cool when someone does something well, like just undeniably well, it crosses. It's like it's borderless. So my dad has had a lot of success inside the contemporary Christian music scene, but the favor that his name has garnered for us reaches so much further outside of that, just because he's done a great job and has never compromised in his artistry and in his beliefs and in his and he's just genuine. So that to me has been the biggest lesson that we've learned from him, is just do your work well. And be kind and be have integrity in all of the things. Just in the art, don't compromise the sound, don't compromise the content, don't compromise who you are, and the rest will take care of itself, you know.
That's a really great message, and I can see that from you guys. Like you definitely seem like a humble bunch, and you know, you're not living the rock star life or anything. You know, you know, but that's really cool.
Thanks,
you know,
man.
I'm glad you've kept that going. You know, that's a great way to honor your dad without necessarily being, you know, a CCM act. You know, just by following those tenets. You know,
totally.
So I see. Riley's over here. Riley, are we running out of time here? Getting close. All right, we're getting close. So you guys have to sound check and everything, so make sure that things sound great for tonight. So, just any final thoughts for Tampa or our listeners? Anything you want to mention?
Man, well, just the only thing I'd mention is listen to Colony House, and we'll come back and we'll just keep coming back to Tampa, and we'll play more shows.
Yeah, we'll go to the Columbia with you guys.
Yeah,
have a good dinner.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
A big old hang.